But as I say, I really don't care what Scientology believes. I just wish that Scientology believed in the truth. Thank you. Oh, and if you'd like to apologize for those comments you made to me on Watterson Street, saying that I talked, or that I like to have sex with barnyard animals or maybe little boys, I'll give you a chance to do that at the end of the meeting.
Twice now, Mr. Bunker has come to this meeting, and you'll notice I did not seek him out. He came and sought me out, and he has twice now tried to harass and intimidate. After the first meeting, which he was trying to encourage people not to vote for me on the basis of my religion. Okay, that's bigotry. That's bigotry, nothing else. Since that time, I've been subjected to a campaign on social media of harassment, intimidation, and unpleasant communications. I'm not interested in having any more of it. Now, I think that following your comments today again about our history goes back a long way, I think it's fair for me to take a couple minutes to give you some information on what that history actually is. Okay? Mr. Bunker is posing as a concerned citizen, trying to alert the citizenry to the perils of Scientology. However, you need to know a little bit more about Mr. Bunker before you venture into his camp and lend him your support. He has for over 20 years done what he can to harm the church and to intimidate, harass, and drive off the Scientologists who, in his opinion, infest the downtown. He's planning to run for city council. His only apparent platform plank is his intention to stifle and contain Scientology and Scientologists. On the face of it, a purely bigoted and intolerant approach. If you would, for a moment, take any of his written or public comments and substitute the word Jew for Scientologist, then it would become very clear to you what we're talking about. The level of bigotry we haven't seen since the brown shirts wandered around Germany in the 20s. Almost 100 years ago, in Germany, an ideologue named Adolf ran for public office, warning about the threat posed by the Jews to their communities and urging that something be done about them. We all know how that turned out. If Mr. Bunker has any achievements or successes in his life, I'm unaware of them. I know little of the career of this man over the years, other than the years that he spent attacking Scientology as a professional bigot. The only regular paid employment that I'm aware of in the last 25 years. There might be, but I'm not aware of it.
Any winning journals?
Back in the late 90s, Mr. Bunker was a paid demonstrator of the anti-Scientology group funded by Robert Minton. A lot of you were not here then, so I'll spend a couple of minutes on that. Mr. Minton had been seduced and co-opted by an anti-Scientologist woman who not only ruined his marriage of many years, but convinced him to spend millions of dollars to fund a campaign against Scientology in Clearwater. He eventually discovered that he'd been duped. He ended up testifying against his former collaborators, who had been suing the church for millions of dollars in a phony case so they could financially benefit. However, for a number of years, Mr. Bunker dutifully and eagerly demonstrated against the church regularly, never missed an opportunity to harass and intimidate individual Scientologists. How do I know this? I was there. I was one of them. Purely to harass, he would walk up to the front of my store windows, place his video camera against the glass, and videotape me or my staff or my customers, and take video footage and then presumably to post it on the internet or something like that. We were just going about our business. What was the purpose of this other than to harass or intimidate? Then he would follow Scientologists like myself around downtown, videotaping while making goading comments in hope of getting better footage. I learned that footage of myself was being regularly posted on the internet in an effort to discredit me. It's still there. He's still emailing it around today. But Mr. Bunker did not limit himself to following adults. He also stalked the minor children of Scientologists, which seems a bit like a bridge too far, doesn't it? Following them around downtown and videotaping them in an effort to intimidate them. How do I know this? My daughter was one of them. On at least 2 occasions, you did that. This greatly upset her. It angered me. You have to understand that Mr. Bunker was not an ex-Scientologist with some supposed grievance. He had no motive at all that I'm aware of other than money. I think he chose the profession of professional bigot because it paid better than his earlier gig, and perhaps because it offered him a way to bully others and feed a small ego. He made his living by discriminating against Scientologists, and he had the gall to file a complaint against me with the Human Rights Commission. He actually took me to court in the Human Rights Commission for religious discrimination. Well, it took about 5 minutes to dismiss that case when I appeared before the commissioner and I explained to him that I'd not discriminated against Mr. Bunker on the basis of his religion, whatever that might be, but purely because of his resemblance to a particular human orifice. Apologies to anyone that's offended. As Jews in Germany had a right to a place to live without persecution and harassment, so do Scientologists in Clearwater. I urge the public not to listen to the hateful propaganda of Mr. Bunker, the Times, the other agents of hate that spew this constant litany of garbage about me and my fellow Scientologists. We have a right to be here. We are contributing members of this community. We pay our taxes. We volunteer. We contribute significantly to our local economy. We don't do drugs. We don't commit crimes. We harm no one. We are people of goodwill. We've chosen Clearwater as our home. We're not going anywhere. Allow us and help us to make Clearwater the bright and sparkling jewel of Tampa Bay, and don't pay attention to fools and bigots. Thank you. With that, I call this meeting adjourned.